Hare Krishna. My pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. For today, we have English recitation from Hitesh Prabhuji and Sanskrit recitation from Vrinda Devi Mataji. So, can I check if Vrinda Devi Mataji is online? Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna, we can hear you.
Hare Krishna, Hitesh Prabhuji. I'm not sure who has iPad, so I'm just checking. Vrinda Devi Mataji, are you online? No? Okay. Saroj Mataji, would you want to read the English? Are you okay to read the Sanskrit?
Hare Krishna, yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for nominating. If Vrinda Devi Mataji joins, then I will let you know. Let me know when you can see my screen, Mataji. And today we also have a bhajan that is at 8:30. We will have a beautiful bhajan that will be sung by Jai Mataji, and I'll be doing the English translation. Hare Krishna. Right, can you see the screen, Mataji?
Not yet. Now I can, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
This is from text 31?
That's right, Mataji. 31 to 44. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitra Vacha. Viditvatham Kapilo Maturitam. Jata Sneho Yatra Tanba Pijataha. Tattvamanyam yat pravadanti sankyam provacha vai bhakti vitana yogam.
Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the statements of his mother, Kapila could understand her purpose, and he became compassionate towards her because of being born of her body. He described the Sankhya system of philosophy, which is a combination of devotional service and mystic realization, as received by disciplic succession.
32. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Devanam Gunalinganam Anushravkika Kamanam Sattva Eva Kamanaso Vritti Swabhaviki Tuya Animita Bhagavati Bhakti Siddhi Gariyashi.
Lord Kapila said, the senses are symbolic representations of the demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representatives of demigods, so the mind is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind's natural duty is to serve. When that service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the Personality of Godhead without any motive, that is far better than even salvation.
Text 33. Jarayati Ashu Yakosam Nirganam Analoyatam Yata.
Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat.
Naikatmatam Mesh Prinayanti Kechin Matpada Seva Pirate Mad Ihaha Ye Ananyo Yato Bhagavata Prashaya Sapta Jayante Mama Porushani.
A pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities.
Pashyanti te me ruchirani yamba santa prashana vaktrana lochanani rupani divyani vara pradani sakham vacham shpranani yam vadanti.
O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling faces of my form with eyes like rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me.
Text 36. Ter darshniya vayer udara vilasha hashkita vama sukte ritatmano rita pranamscha bhaktir anicca to megatim anvin prayante.
Upon seeing the charming forms of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasant words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness. His senses are freed from all other engagements, and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, he attains liberation without separate endeavor.
Text 37. Atho vubhitim mama maya vinashtam Eshwaryam ashtangam anupravritam Shiryam bhagavatim vashprayanti bhadram Parasya metu asnuvate tu loke.
Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the eightfold material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all offered benedictions.
Text 38. Nakar chin matpara sante rupe Nangshanti tome nimisho ledi hetihi Yesham aham priya atma sutascha Sakha guru shruto devam ishtam.
The Lord continued, My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotee accepts me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time.
Text 39 to 40. Imam lokam tathaiva mam atmanam upaya yina nam atmanam anuyechea ye raha pasavo graha visejya sarvam anyamscha mam evam vishvato mukham Pajanti anyayana bhakta tan mrityu ati paraya.
Thus, the devotee who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets, or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relation with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death.
Text 41. Nanyetra mad bhagavata pradhana purush parat atmana sarva bhutanam bhayam tiviram nivartate.
The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls.
Text 42. Madbhayat vati vato ayam suryastapati madbhayat vasha nintro dayate agnir mrityuscharati madbhayat.
It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me. And the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. The fire burns out of fear of me. And death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me.
Text 43. Nana vairagya yuktena bhakti yogena yogina shemaye padamulam me pravashyanti akuto bhayam.
The yogis, equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation, and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit, take shelter of my lotus feet. And since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of God without fear.
Text 44. Itavam eva lokyasmin pumsam nirs resha shodayaya tivrena bhakti yogena mano mai arpitam stiram.
Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Hare Krishna, please forgive any mistakes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please forgive mistakes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hitesh Prabhuji, and thank you, Saroj Mataji, for stepping in at last minute. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Is Krishna Govinda Prabhu here? Yeah, Hare Go.
Hi, Hare Krishna. Just want to check you can hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for the recitation, Saroj Mataji and Hitesh Prabhu. Very nicely recited. So today for our chat class, we're going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the status quo, Chapter 25, the glories of devotional service, and the verses that we're going to be reading from 41 and 42. So, as there's not many devotees on the call, I may sort of ask questions to all of you as well, so it can be a slightly interactive. Hope you don't mind if that's okay. Sorry, let me just share the screen first. Just let me know when you can see it.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hare
okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Sriji Kishore Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskripta Naram Chaiva Narottanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Ashtaishu Bhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Mutam Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So, Canto 3, Chapter 25, verse 41. Nanyatra mal bhagavata pradana purasheshvarat admana sarva bhutanam vayanti vram nivartate. Translation: the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim, Mina na vritim taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed herewith. One may take to the system of understanding this absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no process can give him liberation. We may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Yenye Ravindaksha Vimukta Maninaha. Lord Brahma and the other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought they have become liberated or one with the Lord, one with God, or have become God. But in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, the intelligent is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that the intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita therefore confirms that purified intelligence rises in the presence of a very wise man. Bahunam Dharmanam Ante Jnanavamam Prapadyate. Of the many birds, one who is actually advanced in intelligence surrenders to the Supreme Lord. Without the surrendering process, one cannot achieve liberation. The Bhagavatam says those who are simply puffed up, thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process, are not polished or clear in intelligence. For they have not yet surrendered unto you, in spite of executing all kinds of austerities and penances, or even arriving at the brink of spiritual realization, in Brahman realization. They think they are in the effulgence of Brahman, but actually, because they have no transcendental activities, they fall down to the material activities. One should not be satisfied simply with working that one is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman. That is bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Para Brahman. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The living entity is also Brahman. Without realization that he is Brahman, spirit soul, the eternal servitor of the Lord, one simply thinks that he is Brahman. His realization is only theoretical. He has to realize and at the same time engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Then he can exist in the Brahman status, otherwise he falls down. So it's quite a big purport. So there's a lot of information that Srila Prabhupada has given in this purport. We'll see if we could go and break down some of the instructions and words of wisdom Prabhupada has given in this purport. So first of all, I'll recite the Bangla Charan prayers. Please to join in. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupakadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghuratam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Stahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sata Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitada Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'd like to also offer my prayers and receive the blessings of my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Swami, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Swami Tenamane, and also to his co-founder Church, Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tenamane, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. And also I seek the prayers and blessings of all the listeners here. May you give me the privilege and the permission to speak on the wonderful topics and concepts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And may whatever I say be pleasing, truthful, and beneficial. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So the purport for this particular verse that we're reading, verse 41, the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, also the Supreme Soul of all souls. So here Srila Prabhupada is actually mentioning, or rather the verse is actually mentioning about the fact that we're all being born and the fact that we're all going to die eventually. And these verses are covered in the Bhagavad Gita as well. For one who has taken birth is sure to die, and after death is sure to take birth again. But this cycle of birth and death go through 8,400,000 species of life. Many of us don't even remember our previous life. Many of us don't even remember what happened yesterday, the day before, what happened in the morning. So many of us don't actually believe in the fact that we're taking this recycle, repetitive birth and death. But ultimately, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we actually understand when we're actually in the womb of our mother, we're actually in so much agony, so much pain, so much anxiety. We slowly come to a point where we're actually understanding who we were in our previous life. And because we're suffering in the womb, constantly living in that very tiny sort of cocoon space, being bitten by all the different elements within the actual womb of the mother, we're actually praying in a way to ask the Lord, please, please, please free ourselves from this difficulty, this pain of going through this cycle of birth and death again and again. Although that feeling is there in the womb of our limited intelligence in a subtle way too, we're actually very praying in a way to actually see how we can free ourselves from this cycle of birth and death. But at the same time, once we take in birth, we become a child, we've been taken care of our parents, we go to school, we go to college, we get a job, we get somebody that we can share our life together with, we get married, we have children, we can become old. Then we go through the elements of the different factors of human life, birth, old age, disease, and ultimately death. Another time of death when we don't actually have any sort of feelings of the Lord, then suddenly our life is completely wasted. But at the time of death, when we do know that we should have actually spent our life in a way that would actually serve for a future life, into a life which allows us connected to the Supreme Lord, becoming more devoted to serving the Lord, becoming more withdrawn from material attachment, withdrawn from our family, just like in the Bhagavatam when it mentions about the great personalities, the Raja Rishis, not ordinary personalities, but there were great kings who were actually self-realized personalities, who actually had so much abundance of wealth, of facility, ruling the whole nation, so much wealth, so much responsibility, of course, at the same time, so much opulence they had. But they renounced everything just to serve the Supreme Lord or become detached, live in the forest, and surrender completely unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for many of us, in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada has actually mentioned that this cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Now, do you think we could ever become a pure devotee at all? So, of course, when we read the actual dialogue of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we actually understand from the authorities, reading from the purport, getting some intellectual understanding, that feeling of becoming a pure devotee will only come by connecting ourselves to a pure devotee of the Lord. Just like when you become a doctor, you learn from somebody who's actually an authorized doctor. If you want to be an engineer, you learn from somebody who's an authorized engineer. So many other sort of careers and opportunities that we have in our life, whether you want to become an artist, a painter, a musician, you learn from somebody who has that quality of professionalism. And in this case, we can only free ourselves, become a pure devotee when we become connected to a pure devotee. In this case, Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee because from we understand what he has achieved in the little time he had, although he had many years of preparation, but specifically when we actually wrote and translated the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, he didn't do it in a way to get any credit for himself. He went through a lot of hardship. He went through a lot of difficulties. The cost of printing, the cost of arranging all the type setting to be printed in a way that could actually be perfected in a way so it could actually be distributed. Beautiful paintings done by the devotees to accompany the books itself. But importantly, we've got to understand that Sri Prabhupada in here it mentions that we don't become a pure devotee by mental speculation. And the word he uses is imperfectory sensory speculation. So we may try to realize Supreme Lord, but we have imperfect senses. What are the 4 defects in human life? Does anybody know? Okay.
Sorry, what's the question, Prabhuji?
The question was, Mataji, what are the 4 defects in human life? Can anybody answer? Even
We cheat.
Yes.
Imperfect senses.
Yes, imperfect senses. Anything else?
False ego.
Ego, which comes under illusion, yes. And one more?
Envy.
So we tend to make mistakes. So Mataji managed to get 3 out of the 4. So when we make mistakes, we have the inherent tendency to make errors and judge situations incorrectly. As it says, it's to human. The other one is pramada, we're in illusion, inattentiveness. We're always under the delusion. We're under the guide, because we have this temporary body, we tend to think that we are actually pure, but actually we're always under illusion. It's covered by the layers of sattva, tamas, and raja, the mode of ignorance, goodness, passion, and ignorance, as well as all the qualities that Mataji mentioned about envy. We have the covering of pride, envy, illusion, anger, lust, and greed. The third one is vipralipsa, cheating propensity. We have the inclination to deceive others and also hide our own ignorance and make our own mistakes as well at the same time. The fourth one is we have imperfect senses. Nobody could say we have perfect senses. We don't have the ability to see the sun with our naked eyes. We don't have the ability to see the super soul with our naked eyes. Our limitations of human perception is very limited. Sight, touch, taste, smell, hear, everything is very limited. We have imperfect senses. So even though you may go through so much penance and austerity, but Srila Prabhupada actually mentions from a particular verse by Lord Brahma that if you're actually endeavoring in such a way which is performing so many penances and austerities, if you actually come to the conclusion that the Supreme Lord is impersonal or the Supreme Lord is an imaginary object, your actual penance and austerity just goes in vain. It has actually no value at all. There may be a level of dint of surrender, but the main thing is to actually consider yourself to be completely a fallen conditioned soul and actually surrendering to the Supreme Lord by the form of surrender. And Prabhupada further mentions about the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanam Mam Prapajate. I just shared this with you. I think this is from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. Just for time, I'll just read the translation. After many births and deaths, he was actually knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. And then Srila Prabhupada mentions about that soul who is very rare. How is it possible that he's very rare? Because what it is, he actually mentions amongst thousands of men who aim for perfection, and none of those have attained perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So let's see if that's the next verse. No, it isn't. So this is another beautiful verse where in the Bhagavad Gita mentions amongst thousands of men who aim for perfection, and of those who have attained perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. And that's actually covered in one of these verses as well. So it's not that we just become perfect in this one lifetime. It takes many, many lifetimes. After many births and deaths, he is actually knowledge, surrenders unto me. Such a person is very rare. So we actually have that good fortune that we want to actually surrender and understand about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His qualities, His different sort of leelas, His pastimes, even being able to do devotional service to please the Lord, and also purify self at the same time, performing different kinds of devotional services. So that process is through the surrendering process. So in the Nectar of Instruction, it mentions about 6 specific processes in surrender. Does anybody know what they are? It's also covered in the Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. 6 processes of surrender.
Is it
What
to
is-
do with giving up what is not favorable and things like that?
Yes, very good, Mataji. So
And yeah.
I'll let you read this, Mataji, if that's okay. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's also in the Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verse 100.
The translation, Prabhuji?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you. The 6 divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service, the rejection of unfavorable things, the conviction that Krishna will give protection, the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, full surrender and humility. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much. So yeah, these are 6 divisions of surrender. Of course, there are many things in our life that we want to sort of do, which is favorable in serving the Supreme Lord and serving His devotees. And as we mentioned in many of these classes, those are performing devotional services, chanting 16 rounds every day, performing or following the 4 regulated principles. But actually, it's, at the same time, we may not be able to do that to our complete full-heartedness, but still Krishna sees your endeavor, just like we see the endeavor in the different pastimes that we hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So you try and do the best of your ability, but don't do it in a whimsical state, just accepting certain things that is favorable for you, and then sort of rejected in certain things in Krishna consciousness that you feel, oh, well, hang on a minute, I don't think this, I agree to this, I don't sort of feel any sort of connection if I just stop this sort of things which are not considered to be favorable in our Krishna consciousness. So we have to also take that seriously as well. And of course, through the association of a pure devotee, we slowly give up all these bad habits. Many of us have come through traditional families, but we weren't doing many of these things in our life anyway because of our wonderful upbringing from our parents. But so slowly along the line, when we came in contact with the material world, through school, through college, through work, we associated with non-devotees, and they influenced us in different things like smoking, drinking, gambling, illicit sex, and certain qualities that we had slowly diminished. But now, this is a good opportunity where we actually forgive and forget about those things, surrender to our lives. Why? Because it mentions that to become a pure devotee, we have to forgive all these illicit activities. The cycle of birth and death, which is going on for many, many lifetimes, since the day of creation, who knows how many lifetimes we've been in? Who knows, we could have been demigods in a previous life. Who knows, we could have been great devotees, but we've fallen down, just like we hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Great devotees have fallen down because they've been attached to certain material objects as well. But that's why when you see the gopis are pure by nature. They may not have the same intellectual level as those who could recite the Vedic mantras, the Vedic philosophy, Vedic verses. They may not be all versed in so many of the do's and don'ts and spiritual activities. The gopis' love for Krishna is second to none. Just like we hear the stories, when the Brahmins were asked to give something to Krishna, they refused. They said, we don't have time for Krishna. We have our own duties. We have our yogis to perform. We have to perform austerities, penance, and recitation. Whereas, on the other hand, when they were asked by the gopis, oh, Krishna wants something, can you feed him? The gopis immediately left all their personal priorities. They left their duties for their husbands. They left their duties for their own children just to serve Krishna and the cowboys. That is the love that they had. They weren't intellectual. They weren't on a level as their husbands were. But that pure love and devotion they had for Krishna is the same qualities that we should try and abide by or try and achieve as well. Of course, we're not claiming to be gopis, of course not. But what we're trying to do, we can understand the gopis, they're not on the same level as Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva at that responsibility of taking care of the material world, manifestation, creation, destruction, etc. But the gopis were so simple. They even compared themselves as less intelligent to the queens of Dwarka, who were fortunate to be married to Krishna, but yet Krishna favored the gopis in so many ways. So once again, Srila Prabhupada actually mentions so many things about in the purport itself. If I just go back to the purport, and last week I briefly explained about the Brahman. Brahman is only one aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one aspect of the Absolute Truth. The Absolute Truth is recognized in three features: Bhagavan, Paramatma, and the Brahman. So Bhagavan has unlimited opulences, unlimited qualities. As many stars you can count in the stars, or as many dust particles there are in this planet, and practically no one is able to count how many stars there are. So that's how many qualities the Supreme Lord has. But in particular, he has 6 qualities to his full extent: strength, fame, beauty, opulence, renunciation, and wisdom. So when this person who has all these qualities to his fullness is actually considered to be Bhagavan. And the Bhagavan is compared to the sun god, the person itself. This is an analogy. When you see the sun god, when you see the sun globe, and when you see the sun ray itself. So the Bhagavan is compared to the person within the sun god itself, within the sun globe itself, the personality. And the next stage is actually, which is also considered the highest level, complete realization, when one actually understands the Supreme Personality in this Bhagavan state, his qualities, his fame, fortune, qualities, everything in fullness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one actually is on the highest level of realization. The next level is when one understands the Paramatma as the super soul is residing in the hearts of every living entity, whether it's a tiny insect, a plant, aquatic, amphibian, reptile, mammal, human beings, the higher species of life, the demigods. Then he actually understands that second level, that the Paramatma is in the heart of every living entity. And the Paramatma is considered to the globe itself. When one actually recognizes the actual globe from the person within the globe, and also the sun ray. The sun ray is considered to be like the Brahman, or the supreme effulgence of the Supreme Person, which is considered to be impersonal. People come to that level when they see the Brahman stage. It's considered to be not on the highest level of bhakti at all. one has to come to that state of Brahman to understand what Brahman is. And most of us, or rather the Mayavadis and personalists, just see that the effulgence of the Supreme Lord considered to be the highest level of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just go back to that particular verse again. Srila Prabhupada, or rather it's translated, the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. I am the Almighty Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. So there's a particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Shloka, that actually recognizes that God is the creator of everything. Does anybody know that particular verse at all? It's the first verse from the Chatur Shloka. Just try to see if we can engage you. So one day you can also give class as well. Okay? Just for time.
Sarva. Yeah.
Yes. Mataji, go ahead. You can recite the verse and translation.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha.
Okay, and translation.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Yes. So basically, thank you so much, Mataji. So basically, this I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Krishna is the supreme creator of every living entities, and he's also the creator of the spiritual and material world. It's not just one spiritual world, not just one material world, millions and millions of universes that pervades the whole cosmic atmosphere. So I just wanted to share that one because it's such a beautiful verse. It's the first verse from the Chatur Shloka. And importantly, from that Bhagavatam verse that we were reading, the terrible fear of birth and death. Now, this is very important. As I mentioned earlier on, we want to free ourselves from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So from the Bhagavad Gita, once again, there's a beautiful verse. Does anybody know what it is? It's to do with for whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, takes my nature of this, there is no debt. Anybody know what verse that is? Got a little clue. It's highlighted on the tab.
Not yum yum, is it? Antakale.
Yeah. Do you want to recite that too, Pataji?
I don't mind in case anybody else wants to.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to, thank you.
I can do, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mataji.
sure. Go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 8.5. Antakale cha mam eva smaran mutva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsayaha. Translation. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
That's very good. And just to remind you, chapter 8 was attaining the Supreme. And Mataji, if you can just recite the next verse as well.
Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam eva iti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. Translation. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So does anybody know any examples from the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other stories that they've heard where somebody's actually remembered somebody and in this next life became a similar sort of character to that particular personality?
Bharata Maharaja.
Bharat Maharaj, very good. Who said that?
Kanta.
Kantaben, yeah, sure. Explain a little bit more, Kantaben.
Yeah, when he was very pious devotee of Lord, and he done so much devotional service, but one day he found a baby deer, and he got him and looked after him. But when he died, before he died, he just thought about him, that who's going to look after him after me. So in the next life, he became deer himself.
Yeah, very good. So Bharat Maharaj, he was actually such a pious person. As I mentioned earlier on, Raja Rishis, they're not just ordinary personalities, they're great rishis. They have so much responsibilities, but also they ensure that the residents of that particular nation also follows the injunctions of Vedic philosophy, Vedic, how do you call it, tradition, culture, and it's his duty to actually follow, make sure that all of his citizens actually abide by that same rules. So he actually gave everything up, his family, his kingdom, his wealth, his army, his whole sort of responsibility, and he came to the forest. And while he was there, he got attached to a baby deer because the mother was chased by a tiger or a lion. And then he took care of this particular deer. He became so fond of this particular deer because it was like a companion for him as well. And at the time of death, he just remembered the deer. And in his next life, became a deer. But fortunately, because he could remember who he was in his next life, the deer in his future life, he became Jad Bharat,
Yeah.
who became a very intellectual personality. And if you read his philosophy explaining to a particular king who was condemning his actions when he was carrying the palanquin, even I can't understand it. It's really quite intellectual, it is. Discussion. Any other examples anybody can give me?
Puranjana.
Yes, very good. Jai Mataji, perhaps you could explain a little bit of King Puranjana?
I don't know much, but all I know is that he loved his wife so much, and he did everything with her, and he couldn't be parted with her. Anyway, when he was dying, I think he was thinking of her and got a form of a woman, something like
Yes,
that.
yes, that's right. So, story of King Puranjana, he was actually, once again, a great king, but he was very, very attached to his wife, and he was lamenting so much, in bereavement. He neglected his duty as a king, his family, his duty to the nation. When he passed away, became a woman. In his next life, he became the daughter of Vidarbha. So there's many other stories as well. Like even at the same time, there's many personalities. The demonic side of it, like Hiranyakashipu, he actually wanted to conquer death himself. He wanted to be killed by nobody, and he got a boon by Lord Brahma. He cannot be killed by any weapon, no by fire or any sort of personality, by any land or the sea, or in the day or the night. But of course, great Lord Nishikadev teared his body apart because he was not able to defeat death in such a way, because the Supreme Lord is the supreme intelligent person. He could do anything. Even though he had that boon, he could have still killed him even if he used a weapon, because the Supreme Lord is not subjected by any boon. But because Supreme Lord also wants to favor his devotee and uphold this boon, Lord Brahma's boon that he gave to Hiranyakashipu, he acknowledged that, and at the same time, he also showed his glorification as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of half man, half lion, to protect his pure devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. Other demonic people like Ravana wanted to also become immortal, and once again, he performed so many tapasya like Hiranyakashipu did, and then Lord Brahma gave him several boons, but Ravana, he was so proud and puffed up, he thought that, he didn't want to be killed by any great personalities, but he omitted being killed by humans or monkeys because he thought they were low species of life. He had nothing to worry about. Of course, there was nobody greater than Lord Ramachandra in the form of a human personality who came and slain demonic Ravana. Just going back to this particular verse again, sorry, I know I'm realizing I'm running out of time, but I may just spend a 5-minute extra. So Srila Prabhupada at the purport mentions, it is also confirmed, or rather he is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders to him, he is especially favorable. So the Lord explains in the Bhagavad Gita is equal to everyone, is to his friends and his enemy. But at the same time, when somebody surrenders to him, he's especially inclined and becomes a friend of him. So does anybody know which particular verse that is from the Bhagavad Gita? I'll give you a clue. It's highlighted. If they know the verse itself, translation. Okay, it's from chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, verse number 29. Does anybody want to recite this? Okay, Samoham Sarvabhut. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Samo aham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapi aham. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Oh. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada, or rather, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is not partial to anyone. He's equal to both his enemy and his friend, or his devotee. But at the same time, he is actually more favorable towards somebody who is really surrendered unto him, not only for personal reasons, but purely for that particular person, devotee, to serve him with love, with affection. It's only a friend. His friend is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. Yeah. Now, just going back to the next verse, this is such a beautiful verse. I love reading this, but I just ask if anybody in this group would like to read it or hasn't had a chance to read. It's such a beautiful, beautiful verse. Sriji Kishori Mataji, are you there at all by any chance?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes I am.
Yeah, would you like to read this verse?
Madbhayat vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat varsatindro dhaiti agnir mrityuscharati madbhayat. Translation: It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me.
Thank
Shall
you
I read
so
the
much.
purport as well?
Yeah, just let me just ask a little question to
Okay,
anybody.
thank you.
Who actually gets goosebumps when they read that? I'm not trying to be sentimental. I just want to see if anybody gets some sort of amazing feelings when they read that particular verse. I know so many verses that we read, we have so much reflections, feeling of happiness, sorrow, joy, difficulty even understanding. Anybody would like to share some sort of reflection on this particular verse? If they feel
Prabhuji,
comfortable, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my first reflection when I read when Hitesh Prabhuji and everybody were reading it was, why would we say we do stuff fear of Krishna? As in, it says, sun shines out of fear of me. The Lord of the clouds Indra forechaws out of fear of me. We do stuff because, I mean, I have had friends telling me, do you do it because you fear Krishna? I said, no, I do it because I love Krishna. There's a big difference, isn't it, Prabhuji? So
Yeah,
that was my first reflection, that
yeah,
why is it saying of fear of me rather than saying we're doing it because of love of Krishna?
yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Mataji, it's just such a wonderful point because in the Christianity sort of saying, there is a verse or some statement that they say they fear God, fearing God as well. So I can't remember exactly how it's phrased, but anyway, God fearing or something like that. So about a year ago, I arranged a talk with my devoted friend Radha Mohan Prabhu. I'm not sure if you know him. So at work, where I work at TFL, we have different faith groups. One Christianity, one sort of Judaism, the Muslim group and Hindu group, and other groups as well, Christianity groups. So the idea is that everybody does a talk on a particular subject of their choice every month or whatever they want to. So I chose a particular topic. Are you God-fearing or are you God-loving? So this is such a wonderful topic because we tend to think that I better do some seva to Krishna, otherwise this will happen to me. I better do something nice, otherwise I'll get some karmic reaction. I better do something. So Radhamohan Prabhu explains so nicely that it's not what there were just different categories of people who do certain things. They may feel that there is a guilt conscious in their sort of behavior, how they've treated somebody not very nice, they've stolen something, they've abused the system, they've done unfavorable things that devotees wouldn't do. And because of that, there has a feeling of fear that the Lord will punish them for retribution for some of the activities they've been doing. And then they've actually come to a point where they actually, as you best say, Mataji, they feel love, they feel affection, they feel some sort of connection to the Supreme Lord. Of course, all these personalities like Vayu, blowing the wind, the sun, Suryadev, Indra, like even Indra, he sent rain so harshly, 7 days, 7 nights. Was it out of fear, or was it out of pride, or was it out of envy? Because at that time, he wasn't feeling fearful for Krishna. He was sending it specifically to show his supremacy. And then, of course, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, showed that he was completely insignificant, and he realized his mistakes, and he actually asked for forgiveness. So similarly, there is a time when we actually do certain things out of fear. I must charm my rads because I did something not so nice. I must do some kirtans. I must say something nice to this particular person or feed them, because last time they came, I didn't feed them at all. So there is that question that we all have, but we shouldn't be doing something out of fear, but we should be doing out of love and devotion. So the purport is quite long. I just check the time. Okay, I'll just read some of the purport if that's okay. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted create in all activities because of a superintendence. Now, one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence. The Vedic literature says the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra. Heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing light is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a chief living entity. Nitya Nam Chaitanas Chaitanam, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. So basically, that particular verse means that Krishna is the Supreme Lord of every living entities. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they've been promoted to such pose. These different demigods or directors, such as Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Kuladhikari Devata. So that's the name of these personalities. They're not ordinary personalities. They're placed in a particular position. And if there's a post that they cannot be filled up, then the Supreme Lord himself takes that particular role. Like in the case of Lord Indra, when there is a person qualified to take the role of Indradev, then the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his partial expansion, he comes as a form of Lord Indra. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three, there are millions of planets and millions of universes, just like there are millions of Lord Brahmas, so there's similarly millions of demigods. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government and it requires assistance. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are descriptions of Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Prajakshena Prakriti Suyate Sachara Charam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence because he is in the background. Everything is being performed punctually and regularly. Does anybody know which particular verse that is, or the translation for this verse? I'll give you a clue. The mature nature is working under my direction. Okay, so this verse here, chapter 9, verse 10, the most confidential knowledge, Pratyakshena Prakriti Suyate Cha Sachara Charam Hetu Nanina Kanteya Jagavipar Vivartate. It's a beautiful verse. Prabhupada recites this verse quite often. This mature nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. Sort of producing all moving and non-moving beings. And this rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So it's a beautiful verse for you to get a chance to memorize this, or at least even the English translation. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. Statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, the sun is given heat, are not sentimental. The personalist may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is neither an imagination nor the possession of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Bishasmal Vata Pravate Bishoditi Surya. By fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting. Bishama, Chagni, Chandra, Chamrityu, Devati, Panchamaha. Agni, Indra, and Mitra are also acting under his direction. These are the statements of the Vedas. So there's quite a few verses I wanted to reflect on this, but due to time, I won't be able to. But just basically, you can understand from this verse, the Supreme Lord is the fountainhead of all Godhead, is the fountainhead of all the demigods, and he has his assistants to assist him. Of course, the Supreme Lord can do anything he wants single-handedly, just by the wink of his eye, by the breath of his breathing. But he allows these personalities to do these particular activities under his jurisdiction, under his guidance, under his authority. Vayu, Suryadev, Indra, Lord Brahma, all these great personalities, they're not ordinary personalities, but they've been put in a particular position only by the will of the Supreme Lord, because they have that qualifications and that experience, that knowledge, that devotion, serving the Supreme Lord. Just like our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, he may have a such particular authority to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, but he has certain departmental heads, the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Pension, and the Minister of Education, Minister of so many other things. There's so many different departmental heads, but they all work under the authority of Keir Starmer. They do it because they want to serve him in such a way, because if they don't do their jobs properly, what will happen? They'll get fired, they get sacked, they get replaced. No one is indispensable. In this case, even Keir Starmer can be replaced and removed, but whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he cannot be removed at all. There was another verse I just wanted to share with you, but due to time, I'll do it next time.
Prabhuji, we don't mind if you want to go with the verses at least, then
Okay.
it might be good for us to.
Yeah, sure. So there's a particular verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you for that, Mataji. This is from chapter 9, verse 19, the most confidential knowledge. But just for time, I'll recite the verse. Tapami aham vasham nigranami utrishchamicha amritam cheva mrityuscha sat chaham arjuna. Does anyone know what that translation is by chance? Okay. This translation is Arjuna, I give heed, and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified, both spirit and matter in me. So the translation I wanted to bring to your attention was, I give heed, and I withhold and send forth the rain. So here, Krishna himself is telling Arjuna, it's because of me I'm giving heed. Because of me, I'm sending forth and withholding the rain. It's because of me, there's immortality, and I'm also death personified. So even though he may have Yamaraj in charge of the position of where death takes place, but at the same time, the Supreme Lord is beyond all these personalities. He is the person responsible for giving heed to every living entities. And it's up to us to take advantage of that heed. It's our advantage for us to take advantage of this fresh cool air that's breathing and purifying the atmosphere. It's our opportunity to take advantage of the rain that the Supreme Lord has given to us. Of course, we also understand from the Bhagavad Gita, he mentions that the different demigods actually give all these facilities to us, and we perform yajna in serving the demigods or pleasing the demigods, and by pleasing the demigods, they actually give all these facilities to us. But that yajna, that performance, isn't specifically for the demigod themselves, but we do that in the form of Sri Sankirtan Yajna, which is the defined qualification or the yajna for this particular age of Kali. And I think that's about it, really. There's one particular last verse I'll just share with you. This is from chapter 3, verse 14, Karma Yoga. Anad bhavanti bhutani Parijanayat anna sambhavaha jnana bhavati parijanyo jnana karma samudbhavaha. So the translation, all living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duty. So earlier on I was mentioning about performing yajna, that sacrifice, but it's also our duty, our qualifications to perform those prescribed duty. It's born of prescribed duty. By when we perform that yajna, the demigods are pleased. When the demigods are pleased, then they give forth rain, heat, water, air, all the different facilities that they provide us to nourish us, to take care of us. But by performing this yajna, Sri Harinam Sankirtan, then we can live in harmony side by side with Mother Nature, with the humans, and all the different nations of the world as well, but not actually try to take advantage of each other. As you can see, what's going on around the world with all the conflicts, it's becoming so precarious, just treading on thin ice. At any moment, certain situation may arise from small incidents, then it escalates to unnecessary things because of ego, because of pride, because of envy. We just have to try and pray that we can overcome these difficulties ourselves. Let's pray that there's got to be harmony amongst human beings, amongst Mother Nature as well. We don't exploit her for our own purposes. Thank you so much. I do apologize for going so much overboard. This such beautiful verses. I'll pass it on to Sriji Kishore Mataji and the singer. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for my mistakes too.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Govinda Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful class as always. So for today's bhajan, we have our dear Jai Mataji who will be singing a beautiful bhajan called Ujjwala Varuna in glory for our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But before she sings, I am going to do the English translation, Namrata. Hare Krishna. Okay. Translation. I prostrate myself before the son of Mother Sachi, whose radiant lotus face and body shine with the splendor of molten gold. This transcendental body is the playground for the continuous expression of variegated moods and ecstatic symptoms. That carries his consciousness to the realm where he is no longer aware of that transcendental body. By only a particle of his mercy, he has delivered the 3 words. I salute the son of Mother Sachi, whose heart is a state of rapture, transformed by feelings of intense love. In his pastime of loud roaring, before the mischievous and malicious rascals, he removes all fear of the vast ocean of material existence by the effect of his unlimited compassion. He is wearing garments the color of the eastern sky during the dawn, and his lovely cheeks shine with the same radiance. The nails of his hands and feet have the same pleasing effect of the moon shining in the sky. His pleasure diversion consists in discussion and glorification of his own wonderful qualities and names. I offer my obeisances to the son of Mother Sachi. His lotus eyes are always wet with tears. His ornaments are the new and ever fresh transformation of ecstatic love that decorate his transcendental form. His gait is slow and majestic, yet his dancing is a wonderful pastime of enjoyment. I bow down before the son of Mother Sachi. The movement of his lovely, yet restless, lotus feet captivates the mind, and his ankle bracelet sweetens that charming scene all the more. His face, which defeats the beauty of the moon, is very cooling and pleasant. I offer my salutations to the son of Mother Sachi. He wears a cord around his waist and carries in his hands a water pot and staff. His divine appearance is complemented by his shaved head. The sins of the wicked are renewed by the rod of chastisement that he carries. I salute the son of Mother Sachi. His ornaments are the dust on his body and his radiant tilak prepared with sandalwood. The beautiful sight of his trembling reddish lips bring delight to the mind and heart. I offer my obeisances to the son of Mother Sachi. His lotus eyes defeat the color of pink lotuses. His two lotus hands are very long, reaching down almost to his knees. He appears to be more adolescent, dressed as he is, ready to dance. I prostrate myself before the son of Mother Sachi. Hare Krishna. Jai Mataji, when you're ready.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity today, and thank you to Kishori, Shiji Kishori Mataji as well for suggesting that we sing something to do with Gora, anything to do with today's big day. So, yeah, thank you so much. So this
Could I just, sorry to interrupt, Mataji. Is there any way you could enlarge the size of the text?
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji, today it's Namrata. I'm sitting on my daughter's desktop and I'm finding it hard to maneuver today. So,
Shall I share it?
Yeah,
Otherwise?
is that okay, Prabhuji? My apologies.
I won't be too long. Just 1 minute.
Sorry.
Trying to look for it now.
Actually, Prabhuji, I've done it.
Oh, you've done it. Okay.
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah. Sorry, my apologies. Right, just change of computer and you just feel like you're stuck. But yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's much better. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. So the official name is Sachitanya Shtakam, and the song name is Ujjvala Varana, and author is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. I'll try and sing this. It's a bit difficult one, but I'll definitely try. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Ujjvala Varana Gauravardeham Vilasita Niravadhi Bhavavideham Tribhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Shachitanayam Gadagandara Bhava Vikaram Durjana Tarjana Nada Vishalam Bhava Bhaya Bhanjana Karana Karunam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Shachitanayam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Shachitanayam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Shachitanayam Arunambaradhara Charu Kapolam Indu Vinindita Nakhachaya Ruchiram Jalapita Nija Guna Nama Vinodam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Vigalitanayana Kamala Jaladharam भूषण नवरस भाव विकारम गति अति मंथरा नृत्य विलासम तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं चञ्चलचारुचरणगति रुचिरं मञ्जीररञ्जित पदयुगमधुरं चन्द्रविनिन्दित शीतलवदनं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं धृतकटिडोरकमण्डलुदण्ड दिव्यकलेवर मुण्डितमुण्डं दुर्जनकल्मष खण्डनदण्डम् तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं भूषणभूरज अलकावलितं कम्पितबिम्बाधरवर रुचिरं मलयज विरचित उज्ज्वलतिलकं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं निन्दितारुणकमलदल नयनम् आजानुलम्बित श्रीभुजयुगलं कलवरकैशोर नर्तकवेषं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं तं प्रणमामि च श्री सचितनयं हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for my mistakes. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hari Bol Mataji, beautiful singing Mataji. Oh, glory to your service. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you very much, Jai Mataji. Beautiful singing, and thank you to Namrata Mataji as well for the very nice recitation. Thank you. The translation recitation. Thank you. Wishing everyone a very happy Gaura Purnima. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Nicely sung, Mataji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy Gaura Purnima. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.